There is one thing that many doctors almost never explain to patients. In many cases, drinking too much water throughout the day can be greatly increasing trips to the bathroom at night. And the way you organize your hydration may be hurting your sleep more than any other habit in your routine. I am Dr. John Walker, a urologist, and for more than 35 years, I have been treating urinary problems, nocturia, and other common urinary changes with advancing age. During all these years, I have followed thousands of patients, men and women, especially people over 60 years old. Many arrived tired, worried, and believing that they had some serious bladder disease. But in most cases, the problem lay in something much simpler. They never learned the correct way to consume water throughout the day. In the previous video, I talked about 5 warning signs that can indicate that the gut is releasing toxins into the bloodstream. This subject drew a lot of attention, and many people identified with what was explained. Now, I want to delve even deeper into a topic that directly interferes with your rest, heart health, kidney function, and also your quality of life every night. A well-known research published in 2019 by Nagasaki University in Japan, considered one of the most important on nocturia in recent years, revealed something impressive. The study showed that correctly adjusting the times of fluid intake was able to reduce trips to the bathroom during the night by about 40% in people over 65 years old. And the most surprising thing is that this happened without the use of medicines, without surgery, and without expensive treatments. Just with simple changes in the way you drink water during the day. Now I want to ask you a question. How many times a night do you usually wake up to go to the bathroom? Write here in the comments how many times you wake up during the night to go to the bathroom. And if you're over 60, tell us that too. Your story can help others because many people experience exactly the same problem without imagining that they are not alone. Today, I'm going to show you the 3 most important hydration habits that can help your bladder and improve your sleep. Let's start with the most basic and work our way up to the most powerful habit of all. When we get to the first place, you'll discover something about how your body works that few people know. And it's probably not what you imagine. In fact, it is totally different from what many people have heard throughout their lives. So follow along until the end, and don't skip any part. Let's start with the third habit, and it usually surprises almost all patients when they first enter my office. Many people believe that the kidneys function only as simple filters, but this is not true. They work actively and follow a rhythm linked to the time of day. During the daytime, the kidneys work at high speed, filtering the blood constantly and producing urine more frequently. But when night comes and the body begins to go into rest mode, an important change happens. A hormone called vasopressin, also known as antidiuretic hormone, increases in the body. Its function is to warn the kidneys that it is time to reduce urine production. In addition, it helps the body concentrate urine better and allows the bladder to rest while you sleep. This is the natural functioning of the human body. The problem appears when the person drinks a lot of fluids 2 or 3 hours before bedtime. When this happens, the body ends up hindering the work of vasopressin. The kidneys continue to produce urine even during the night, and the bladder begins to fill up too quickly. So the brain can't control the urge to urinate, and the person ends up waking up several times during the night. A study published in 2020 by the University of Toronto in the Journal of Urology analyzed for 112 adults who suffered from nocturia. The researchers found that those who stopped drinking fluids between 2 and 3 hours before bed decreased their trips to the bathroom from 2.8 times per night to just 1.6 times. This represented an improvement of 43%. Another study, conducted in 2018 by the Maastricht University Medical Center in the Netherlands, reached a similar conclusion. The study showed that reducing fluid consumption at night decreased nighttime urine production by 38% in people over 60 years old. I remember a patient named Mahi, a 68-year-old retired teacher who lived in Ohio. She woke up 4 times every night to go to the bathroom. Before going to sleep, she used to drink tea, water and juice until it was time to turn off the lights in her room, so we made a simple change. As she slept at 10:30 p.m., we defined that the last time to drink liquids would be 7:30 p.m. Just 3 weeks later, she was able to sleep almost the entire night without interruptions. She told me that she felt like she had gotten her life back again. And there is another important detail. Age influences a lot in this. After the age of 60, the body begins to produce less vasopressin. Research published in 2017 by the University of Amsterdam showed that people over 65 can produce up to 30% less of this hormone at night when compared to younger adults. This means that, in old age, even 2 or 3 glasses of liquid before bed can be enough to overload the bladder. When the person was younger, the body could handle it without difficulty. But as the years go by, the situation changes. And this does not mean disease, it is just a natural change of the body. The good news is that you can use this information to your advantage. Get started today. Think about the time you usually sleep and go back to 2.5 hours on the clock. This should be your limit for consuming fluids. If you need to, set a reminder on your phone to help. After this time, the last drink should be small, without exaggeration. And it is important to avoid coffee, caffeinated beverages, and alcohol because these drinks directly disrupt the functioning of vasopressin and make the body produce even more urine during the night. And this habit connects directly with the next point on our list. Because the second habit doesn't just talk about the time you drink fluids, but also about the type of drink you put in your body. And maybe that's exactly what's making your problem worse without you realizing it. Now let's talk about something that many people ignore: the hidden irritants that overload the bladder every day without the person noticing. There are common drinks and habits that can make trips to the bathroom at night much worse. And probably one of these items is there in your kitchen right now. The second habit is where everything starts to really change because it completely alters the way your body handles water throughout the day. Most people who come to my office are not drinking too much water. In fact, many are even dehydrated. The big problem is not the total amount of water, but the time it is consumed. Many spend the morning drinking almost nothing, have a little for lunch, and then try to make up for it in the late afternoon and during the night. The result is that they end up putting a lot of fluid into the body exactly at the moment when the kidneys should start to slow down. This pattern is totally contrary to the body's natural functioning and is one of the main causes of nocturia in healthy adults. There is a biological reason for this. The kidneys work best during the most active hours of the day, especially between 7 a.m. and 2 p.m. During this period, the body is prepared to process liquids more efficiently. Blood flow in the kidneys works better, sodium balance is more active, and the body can handle large volumes of fluids in a natural way. When most of the day's water is consumed at this time, the kidneys can do their job without difficulty. The bladder fills and empties normally during the day, and by night, the body has eliminated almost all excess fluid. This means less pressure on the bladder at bedtime. A clinical study published in 2021 by Seoul National University Hospital in the journal Urology and Urodynamics analyzed 320 people who suffered from nocturia. The participants were separated into 2 groups. The first group continued to drink water without any time guidance. The second group started to consume 70% of all daily fluid intake before 2 p.m. After 8 weeks, the results drew attention. The group that changed the hydration schedule had a 47% reduction in trips to the bathroom during the night. Meanwhile, the group that did not change their habits improved by only 9%. Another study, carried out in 2019 by the Keio University School of Medicine in Tokyo, also showed similar benefits. The researchers observed a 35% reduction in the volume of nocturnal urine in men between the ages of 55 and 75 who started drinking more water in the early hours of the day. I remember a patient named Robert, a 71-year-old retired engineer. He came to the office believing that the problem was only the prostate because he woke up 3 to 4 times every night to urinate. We identified a slight enlargement of the prostate, but the main problem appeared when we analyzed a diary with the times when he drank fluids. By noon, Robert was consuming less than 400 milliliters of water. Then, between 6 p.m. and 9 p.m., it came close to a liter. We completely changed his routine. He drank a large glass of water first thing in the morning, maintained regular hydration throughout the day, and stopped fluids almost entirely after 7 p.m. After 6 weeks, he was waking up only once a night. Before that, the average was 3.5 times. In addition, his smartwatch showed significant improvement in sleep quality. For people over 65 years old, this strategy becomes even more important. As we age, the feeling of thirst decreases. This has already been demonstrated in old studies and continues to be confirmed today. Many older people just don't feel like drinking water in the morning. so they end up compensating at the end of the day by habit or routine. And this behavior creates a cycle that directly impairs sleep. The good news is that this can be fixed with simple changes. Tomorrow, as soon as you wake up, before coffee and before you pick up your cell phone, drink a full glass of water. After that, try to consume 2 more glasses before noon. If you think it's necessary, set a reminder on your phone around 11 a.m. after lunch. Start to reduce little by little. After 5 p.m., only drink small sips when you feel the need. This habit doesn't cost money, doesn't need medicine, and can bring a huge improvement in nighttime rest. And when you combine this habit with stopping liquids a few hours before bedtime, the result is usually even better. The kidneys receive the amount of fluid they need during the day and are able to rest properly during the night. But now we come to the most important point of all, and almost no one talks about it. The number one habit is not only related to the amount of water you drink or the time of hydration. It involves something that happens inside your body while you're sleeping that most people have never noticed. And now we come to the most important habit of all. I want you to pay close attention to this part, because in more than 24 years of serving patients, this was the concept that brought more results than any other strategy I have ever used. And almost always the same reaction happens when I explain it for the first time. Patients are completely surprised. Most people believe that waking up several times at night to urinate means that there is a direct problem with the bladder. But in many cases, especially after the age of 60, the real problem lies in the way the body moves fluids during sleep. I'll explain it simply. Throughout the day, especially in people who consume a lot of salt, the body begins to accumulate fluid in the tissues of the legs and ankles. This happens because excess sodium makes the body retain more water. Often this swelling is discreet and almost imperceptible. The person looks at the legs and thinks that everything is normal, but the liquid is accumulated there. When night comes and you lie down, gravity stops keeping this liquid trapped in your lower body. Then it starts to go back into the bloodstream, passes through the kidneys, and ends up being transformed into urine. This is exactly why many people are able to sleep normally at the beginning of the night, but wake up with a strong urge to urinate an hour or two after falling asleep. A well-known study published in 2017 in the Journal of Urology, carried out by researchers from Nagasaki University, analyzed 321 participants with nocturia. The researchers reduced the participants' average daily salt intake from 10.7 g to 8 grams per day. Even though it was a relatively small reduction, the results were impressive. Trips to the bathroom during the night decreased by about 25%. The average fell from 2.3 times to 1.7 times per night. After that, in 2020, the same institution conducted another study and discovered something even more interesting. When the salt reduction was combined with the habit of elevating the legs in the late afternoon, the volume of urine produced during the night dropped by about 52%. And all this without expensive medicines or complicated procedures. This is where the 3 habits start to work together very powerfully. When you drink more water at the beginning of the day, you reduce excess fluids at night. When you decrease salt, your body retains less fluid in your legs and tissues. And when you set a cutoff time to stop drinking fluids before bed, your kidneys can get into the night with less work to do. These strategies together produce a much greater result than either of them separately. I remember a patient named Dorothy, who is 76 years old. For more than 3 years, she woke up 4 to 5 times every night to go to the bathroom. She had already tried medications and even pelvic floor therapy, but nothing brought lasting improvement. When I started to analyze her habits, I asked for a simple 24-hour urine test and also a food record. That's where we found the problem. Dorothy consumed more than 4,000 milligrams of sodium per day, far above the recommended level. In addition, almost 70% of all the urine produced by her happened during the night, a classic sign of excess fluids returning from the legs to the circulation while she slept. We changed a few simple things. We have reduced salt consumption to less than 2,300 milligrams per day. We also advised her to spend 30 to 45 minutes with her legs elevated in the late afternoon. In addition, she started to follow the hydration strategies we have talked about earlier. After 8 weeks, Dorothy was waking up only once or twice a night. Urine production during the night fell by 44%. She was thrilled at the return appointment because she was finally able to sleep better again. After the age of 60, this process becomes even stronger for 2 main reasons. First, the veins in the legs lose some of their elasticity with aging, facilitating the accumulation of fluid in the tissues. Second, the heart tends to pump blood a little less efficiently over the years. This causes more fluid to remain stationary in the legs during the day. Researchers at Johns Hopkins University showed, in a study published in 2016, that adults over 65 years old have much higher rates of excessive nocturnal urine production, caused exactly by this movement of liquids in the body. Now I want to leave you with a simple plan for you to start today. First, watch your salt intake for a week. Read food labels. Many products have more sodium than we realize. Breads, ready-made soups, sausages, and restaurant meals are often great hidden sources of salt. Try to keep your intake below 2,300 milligrams per day. If you can get close to 1,500 milligrams, even better. Second, if you spend a lot of time sitting in the afternoon, whether it's watching television, reading, or using a computer, elevate your legs for about 30 to 45 minutes before dinner. A pillow below the legs helps a lot. This position makes it easier for liquid to return to circulation while you're still awake. Thus, the kidneys are able to eliminate this excess before bedtime, and not during the night. And third, connect all of this with previous habits, drinking more water in the morning and cutting back on fluids at night. When these changes work together, the body begins to function in a much more balanced way during sleep. These three habits work together as a single system, and when the person follows them all constantly, the results are usually very positive. So let's summarize everything in a simple way. The third habit is to create a cutoff time to stop drinking fluids before bed. Ideally, you should stop most of your water intake between 2 and 3 hours before going to bed. Your kidneys need this time to slow down along with the rest of your body. And after the age of 60, this becomes even more important because the body no longer produces the same amount of vasopressin as it did in youth. The second habit is to change the hydration schedule. Most of the water should be consumed during the morning and early afternoon, especially before 2 p.m. During this period, the kidneys work more efficiently and the body is able to eliminate fluids while you are still awake and active. Thus, the bladder works more during the day and less during the night. And now we come to the most important habit of all. Reducing excess salt and elevating your legs in the late afternoon helps prevent that quiet buildup of fluid that gets stuck in your legs during the day and comes back into circulation when you lie down at night. It is exactly this liquid that often ends up filling the bladder during sleep without the person realizing the reason. I want you to understand one thing clearly. Improving sleep, reducing trips to the bathroom during the night, and bringing more comfort to your nights is possible at any age. These strategies don't just work for young people. They work precisely because they respect the body's natural changes over the years. You don't have to fight your body. You need to learn to work together with him. Now I want to know from you, which of these three habits do you intend to start first? And what is the biggest difficulty you face during the night? Write in the comments. I like to follow the reports, and many questions end up inspiring the channel's next content. If this content helped you in any way, leave your like. This helps the video reach more people who are also suffering from sleepless nights without understanding the true cause of the problem. And if you know someone who wakes up several times during the night to go to the bathroom, share this content. Many people believe that the body is failing, when in fact it was just necessary to better understand how it works.